I have another stack of books on the table beside me, but I realized it's not in frame. I've just realized that I've stacked all these and I'm now going to have to take books out. I did not think this through. Hello, welcome back to another video. I'm Maggie. I'm a tarot reader, astrologer, psychic medium, witch, woo-woo gal. And today we're doing something a little different. We're talking books. I love to read. I have my master's of English and I've just always loved to read my whole life, whether it is fiction, nonfiction, a witchy spiritual read, whether it's contemporary fiction, classics, so many different things. I just love a good book. So first of all, if you have something you think I should read, or what's your favorite book? What is your favorite book that you feel like everyone has to read? Put it in the comments. I want to read it. But today we are letting the tarot cards choose my spring TBR. Now, full disclaimer, I am filming this on April 13th. So we're a bit into spring, but I'm gonna put spring as like to the end of June. I've been on a reading kick this year. I mean, not anything crazy. Like some of the booktubers, I'm like, I love booktube, first of all. I watch it religiously. But some of y'all are reading like 15 books a month. I can't. I've read 15 books this year, which I think is really good. And let's just put this out here now, audiobooks are also books. So I wanted to pull some cards and let it dictate my TBR. I decided to pull every book in my house that I haven't read but I also wanted to read. This is a lot, and guess what? These are not even all my books because some of my books are packed away for when I move. Yeah, it's a lot. I also have audiobooks. I also have some things at the library that I want to read. So, lots to choose from. I am so warm from pulling all these off the shelves and lugging them around the house. But what we're gonna do today is pull some cards. I think I'll pull 10 cards and choose from here. Now I'm also in a book club, but I don't know what books we're reading for April, May, and June, so I'm not gonna include those. Am I being ambitious? Maybe, but let's see. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I would love to have you over here for more witchy woo-woo content. I do readings for every zodiac sign at the beginning of every month, and maybe I'll do some more book content if you like it. Like I said, I've read 15 books so far this year, so I wouldn't be opposed to breaking them down and letting you know what I thought of them. If you want a video like that of what I've read so far this year, just let me know in the comments below and I would love to do that. Let's pull our first card. Let's just let it fly out. Our first book, our first card that didn't actually fly. Okay, this one literally flipped out twice, so we're gonna go with it. It's the devil. The devil. The devil card is all about going deeper with something. It can be about being stuck in cycles, being chained to your habits and things like that. So I know exactly what book I'm picking for this one. I've just realized that I've stacked all these and I'm now going to have to take books out. I did not think this through. Oh no. Atomic Habits. I feel like this is... I just realized that my videos are in reverse because I film on my phone. Oh well. Atomic Habits. This has been on my TBR probably for like 5 years. I think I put it on my TBR in 2020. Yeah, this came out in 2018. I've had this on my list since about 2020 when I really started to get into some more personal development. And honestly, I was so into like crystals and tarot and all this stuff before, but it truly was my personal development journey that got me way more in tune with my intuition, way more in tune with my body, way more in tune with manifestation and myself. So I would so recommend like going down that route a little bit and just exploring a little bit more. I really want to read this. I've heard that it is amazing. You know, I think I've learned some of this already from other things I've read, from podcasts, from stuff like that, but it's always one of those books that I have on my list and for some reason I just never get around to. So I have the physical copy. I don't know, I might also listen to it as an audiobook, we'll see. But with the devil card being all about habits and being all about cycles and breaking free of them and breaking free of unhealthy habits to bring in new ones, I feel like this is the perfect book. We pulled the Hanged Man in reverse. So the Hanging Man... The Hanging Man in reverse means to go back and reclaim something from a past self, to call something that was left behind. So I think there's two options. I'm gonna look at my books here, but I think I could do a reread or I could do a book that has been like a TBR veteran, kind of like Atomic Habits. So let me see what I have. They're always from the middle. It's never the ones on the top. Rise Sister Rise by Rebecca Campbell. This is kind of like, yeah, it's a nonfiction. I started reading it, you can see. I'm so sorry to all you sacred book lovers, but I have stuff underlined. I apologize, but also I don't do that with a lot of books, but with this one, it is like little things every day just small little sections. So I loved reading one or two of these a day. And then there's usually some journal questions. So I'd basically take this and I would read until I get to the journal question, then I would sit with it. She's another book, Light is the New Black, I think. And I really enjoyed that. I read that slowly and answered all the journal questions around the time I was first moving to Denmark a few years ago. And then I tried to move right onto this and I just couldn't keep up the habit. So now that I'm back in Canada, I think I would like to start her next book. I have had this book for so long, and like I said, I tried to start. It would be interesting to see my thoughts back like 3-ish years ago. So I would really, really, really like to read this and just see what sort of shifts in me. I might not finish it by June, but I'll definitely get started and really sink back into my journaling practices, which I've been missing. I feel like these will go really well together. It's like coming up with new habits, which is like journaling and things like that, and then this to aid in that. So here is my reversed hangman pick. A lot of nonfiction, and I haven't actually read really much, if any, nonfiction this year. So I'm excited to get back into it. I haven't for a couple of years, and I miss like the learning aspect. But I've just been loving escaping into a book recently. So a little bit of a return to some of my roots here. Next one. Ooh, that one went flying. We have the Four of Wands here. So this is a card all about stability. It can talk about marriage or commitment, and it's really just about having those 4 stable posts beneath you. I think there's 2 ways I could take this. One is like creating strong foundations for yourself, which would be another more self-help nonfiction book. Or I could say like this is, you know, the basis in which literature stands on. So I'm going to take this as a classic book. So hold on a second. There's a few I could pick from. I think I have Phantom of the Opera on there, Picture of Dorian Gray, and a few others. Let me see what I can find. All right, I picked The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I don't know how I got through an English master's, like not just an English degree, my English master's, without reading Great Gatsby. Now, I'm a little hesitant because both my mom and my partner have said this book is super boring, but my sister's partner got this for me for Christmas because it is on my TBR, and I thought that a nice small read would be really nice. I also had Phantom of the Opera and A Picture of Dorian Gray to pick from, which I really want to read both, and I think I've just heard better things than A Great Gatsby about those ones, but if you love this, let me know. I haven't even seen the movies, so I'm going into this quite blind. I am excited to read it. It's only 148 pages. I think this will be a breeze to get through. Maybe I'm wrong, but that is going to be the Four of Wands pick. Now on to the Fool. So once again, a couple ways to take this. I could take this as a newly published book because this is all about new beginnings. It's the very first card in the deck. It's setting off on a journey. Or I might take it as new to my TBR pile. Let me take a look. I have an idea. I decided to go with neither of those explanations, and instead we're going to do the first book in a series. So fresh new beginnings, brand new series. This is Louise Penny's Still Life. I have like 3 of these that my sister lent me, and she lent them to me back in November, and I still haven't started. So this one is number 1. I don't know much about these books. What I do know is it's like a murder mystery vibe, and my sister absolutely loved them. Her and I are reading Agatha Christie and are loving it, and so she really wanted me to read these as well. So this one, Cassandra, I hope you're happy, is going to go on my TBR for the next few months. Oh, that one flew. The 8 of Swords. This is saying things are holding you back, and it's sort of like get over the excuses. Things are holding you back, but there's nothing really there. Just do it. Just get it done. I think this could be completing a series. Like nothing's holding you back. Just get it done. Or a book that I've been meaning to get to for a long time, and it's like now is the time. There's nothing holding you back. But I think I'm gonna go with finishing the series. This is the last book so far in the Court of Thorns and Roses in the ACOTAR world. This is also from the library. I keep taking it out. I've had to bring it back about 3 times because I'm not getting to it. It has that library cover, so it's really shiny, so I am gonna put it down. I started A Court of Thorns and Roses in December, and I have ripped through it. However, I've taken this out of the library a few times, and I've always gone to something else instead, and then I had to bring it back, and it's really frustrating, and I just want to get this series done with. I have loved it, but I want to check it off, feel like it's complete. And so I don't know what's been holding me back from actually finishing this, especially because from what I've heard, it's a lot of Nessa and Cassian, and I love Cassian. So this one's going on the TBR, mark my words. It's getting finished. Three of Cups. This card is all about friendship and coming together and celebration and leaning on your friends. I think this could be my book club pick, or I think this could be reading together or a recommendation from someone. So let me grab the book. Another library book. That's why this has that atrocious shiny covering on it. But this is Ghostsmith by Nikki Pau Preto. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but it is the second book in a duology. The reason I think it fits this card is because I read the first one for book club and I really want to like round out the series. I quite enjoyed it. It's definitely not like 5 stars 100%. I would give it like 4 stars the first one, but it was really fun. I really had a great time. So I want to finish the duology, and it fits that like book club theme because it did come from book club. The first book is Bonesmith, and this one is Ghostsmith, and it's all about different types of smiths. So it's this world where there are bonesmiths, ironsmiths, ghostsmiths, and goldsmiths, and maybe more. I feel like I'm doing a tongue twister. Goldsmith, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to give too much away in case you read it, but it's about this girl who has a mysterious heritage. She doesn't know exactly who her mother was, and she's a bonesmith, but she lets her family down and they kind of ship her off to this place. She meets a few people, adventure ensues, mysteries are brought up. It's really interesting. It did give me some sort of like Throne of Glass vibes, and I really loved Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass, so I would recommend this. It's only a duology, so it's not super long, but it's a lot of fun, and I read the first one so quickly. 4 more to go. The 8 of Wands. This is a card about overwhelm. It's saying you feel almost frozen because you feel like there's so much to do. I could take this as don't pick a book, you're overwhelming yourself, but instead I'm gonna pick a book that has been sort of overwhelming me for a while, that sort of is stressing me out, but I just need to read it because I know I'll enjoy it. There's 2 things I could go for here. I have an idea, but I could also pick another library book because it's like you kind of got to get those done quickly. Oh my gosh, I know exactly which one I'm gonna pick. Not only is it a library book, but I was really hoping to get this book on here because I am about partway through. I accidentally lost my bookmark when I was moving everything over. That's already overwhelming. I'm gonna have to find where I was. But this is Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. I'm reading this right now. I really enjoy Sally Rooney's books. This is the only one of hers now that I have not read, I'm pretty sure. I'll have to check, but I've read Conversations with Friends, Normal People, Beautiful World, Where Are You, and a 4th one, I think? I might be making that up. But I'm really liking this. I'm about halfway through. However, I do find it really overwhelming how she writes one of the POVs. So this is about 2 brothers who have just lost their father and sort of the things that are going on in their grief, in their life. The brothers are 10 years apart. So we have the brother Peter and the brother Ivan. Ivan's I find really easy to read. It's Sally Rooney's regular writing. It's maybe a little difficult because she doesn't put quotation marks, but I think you pick up on it really quickly, and I've read so many of her books now that it doesn't really matter. But Peter's is this like stream of consciousness that's really confusing, and I was literally looking it up like, why is it written like this? And people on Reddit were saying sort of you need to dissociate a little bit when you read it, and then it becomes a lot easier. Like it just sort of flows out. I'll give you an example. Past the art college now, students milling around in denim jackets, plastic boots, torn stockings, formless teenage faces floating pale under the streetlight. At the outdoor of life, he knows they're watching, brains and beauty, amused as he passes, one head turning to follow. Well, good for her, you only live once. He could be halfway through his days already. Allows himself to glance back with a smile. It's so confusing. It's really difficult like to flow with. I'm getting a lot easier and I'm actually starting to enjoy Peter's parts, but I do find this a little overwhelming, and I find it has slowed down my reading because it takes me so much longer. So this is definitely the book for this, and I'm so happy that I can add this to the TBR because I'm reading it now. The Sun! This is going to be like a book I really want to read. Sun is all about manifestations coming to fruition, dream life, all of that, wish fulfillment. So I'm gonna pick a book that I really want to read. Okay, I'm debating between Fourth Wing and Castle in the Air, but I think I'm gonna go with Castle in the Air. I've read Howl's Moving Castle twice, and this is the second book by Diana Wynne Jones. And I don't think like Howell and Sophie are in this one, but I love her storytelling. I've heard amazing things about this, and so it is what I'm going to put as that sun card. I think it's sort of like an Aladdin retelling, because I know there's like a magic carpet. He's a humble carpet merchant but dreams to be a prince. So correct me if I'm wrong, but it gives a bit of an Aladdin retelling. But it is the second book in the Howl series, so I cannot wait to read it. All right, we pull the Three of Swords next. This is about shaking your foundations, opening up to a long journey ahead, opening the mind, seeing things from a different perspective, looking out and observing something else in the world that you do not understand. So I have the perfect book for this. Which one? I want to read Braiding Sweetgrass so bad. I own it, whereas White Magic I don't own. It is from the library, and I'm trying to get as many library books on here as I can. I think she's an Indigenous woman from the States, and she's writing about like the colonization of magic, and she talks about the colonization of spirituality, how it does steal from Indigenous people. She talks about her experience as an Indigenous person and the abuse and racism and all of this that she has faced, and her experience through ancestral work and reclaiming herself as a witch. I'm really excited to read this book. I love to read as much Indigenous literature as I can, especially being Canadian, and the history here of such torment, abuse, and just horrible actions against Indigenous people. And I just think as someone who is spiritual, it's important that we understand the roots of where things come from and what is not available to us or an open practice to people who are not Indigenous, so people like me. And as soon as I saw that my library had this book and what it was all about, I was like, I need to read this. I think it's really important to educate ourselves on what is a closed practice, what is not appropriate for us to be practicing, and just where maybe some of our own practices have roots in that we can practice, that is okay. But just understanding the energy a bit more. Understanding the energy, the story, the culture, different point of views. It's always important to do our own research. So I am very excited to read this one, and I think that it fits that Three of Wands very nicely. Last one. And I got all the library books except for one. So, woohoo! The Magician. So I could pick with the Magician something to help me manifest, because the Magician is the ultimate manifester. They have all the tools you want. So I could pick something like Moon Power. However, I do already have 3 nonfiction books, and I have not been reading nonfiction a lot, so I feel like adding another one to be read in 3 months would feel extremely overwhelming. So instead, I am going to pick something that I feel like will fill out these books. I'm going to look, see what I think is sort of missing, and I'll get back to you. Oh my gosh. Okay, I bought this book 2.5 years ago at Shakespeare and Company in Paris. So look, it has the stamp. If you don't know, Shakespeare and Company is a really famous English bookstore in Paris, and writers can go there and they can stay there and write, and they just have to work in the bookshop or the cafe. It's right across the Seine from the Notre Dame, and it still has my receipt in it. And it has this book and my tote bag, which I love. I always thought that tote bag was more. I need to go back because I need more of those tote bags. That's really all it is. This made me kind of nostalgic because that was probably my favorite trip I did when I was living over in Europe. But I picked The Merry Spinster, Tales of Everyday Horror. So these are fairy tales reimagined as like horror and kind of disturbing. This is by Daniel Mallory Ortberg, and it is a bunch of short stories. So we have ones like The Daughter Sells, The Merry Spinster, The Rabbit, The Frog's Princess, and they're all reimagined fairy tales under the scope of horror. There's some feminist undertones in this as well, which I really like. I looked at all the books and I was like, okay, there's fantasy, there's self-help, there's witchy, there's indigenous, there's YA, classics, murder mystery, contemporary, like there's so many things. I was like, what is the gap here? Because I feel like I have so many different types of books, and the only ones I could think of were romance, but we do have some romantasy elements in some of the other ones. Like there's some romance in Intermezzo, there's definitely romance in A Court of Silver Flames. So I decided to go with the short story collection because I felt like that was like nothing on here, and this is also horror and like psychological thriller, which aren't in any of the other books. So I was like, this is the perfect thing to slot in there that is missing from this TBR The magician has all his tools, he has a complete collection of everything, and this is exactly what that was missing. So my magician pick is the Merry Spinster. I'm excited to finally get to this. I'm also manifesting going to Paris in the fall and visiting my sister who lives in France. So maybe reading this book is going to close that cycle and I'm going to have to go back and it'll help with that manifestation. So here are the books that I picked. This is a topsy-turvy stack. I should have reordered them. I'm not going to necessarily read them in this order, but my hope is to have these finished by the end of June. Maybe I'll do some cozy reading vlogs. I can also do a recap of these books. Let me know what you would like. I'm gonna put this down because it's really heavy. But these are the books that I'm going to read. These are the books that I haven't read. I did not choose any audiobooks. I'm just realizing. We'll see how it goes. I didn't pull any audiobooks. I got too carried away with my books here. So there might be some extra books I read because I do love to listen to an audiobook when I go for walks, when I'm doing things around the house, all of those things. So I might have even more than just these books to catch you up on. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit different, but we're reading some witchy books and some spiritual books in this grouping as well. And I just think, just sort of like music, that reading really is magic. It gets to bring you to this other place, this whole other world. It gets to evoke feelings within you. It's just so magical. So I wanted to bring my love for reading onto this channel. I thought, how can I make this booktube sort of thing my own? And I think the fun tarot TBR really did that. You saw the books, here's the cards to the TBR. I think this was a lot of fun, and I will see you soon with my thoughts on these books, or maybe some other witchy, cozy lifestyle content. Okay, stay magical. If you got to the end of the video, leave me a little green heart and a book emoji, and let me know what book you would recommend that I read. As you can tell, we got a little bit of everything. So if there's a book that you really enjoyed, let me know, because I bet I'd enjoy it too, and I will see you next time. All right.